football movie inspired by a true story. I'm already crying. Underwear's kind of hyped up. Ooh, a quarter. Ooh, that sucked. If it's heads, I'll talk about The Blind Side. If it's tails, I'll take my shirt off. Sandra Bullock is the Southern woman Jesus who takes in this very large African-American uneducated boy, gives him a couch, gives him hope. Definitely was looking forward to seeing this movie. I really liked the trailer. You know, I like movies of this kind. Of course, they can suck, but I just had a feeling about this movie. It looked like a good movie. I'm really looking forward to Sandra Bullock's performance, which is, you know, Oscar. So I thought it looked like a good movie, and it is a good movie. It's a really good movie. Sandra Bullock's performance is very, very good. Her character is definitely very likable. She's a lot of fun to see on screen. She really lights up. Surprisingly, this movie actually has a lot of good humor. It has a very great balance of the drama and the humor. Dramedy, as you may call it. But, unfortunately, I don't want to kill the excitement or anything, but I would not say that I don't know. I'm not sure, but I don't think she's going to get a nomination. I'm sorry, her performance is very, very good, and, you know, achievement award kind of. But, you know, there's just really not that one, I don't know, very good performance, but nothing really necessarily powerful, you know, that I think it should have for, you know, a nomination for an Oscar. Great performance. I'm not saying it's undeserving. I just don't really feel comfortable saying I think she's going to get nominated. I loved her performance. All the performances in this movie are great. You know, the actor who plays, you know, this kid, Quentin Aaron is the actor's name. He does a very good job. You know, it's not the most challenging role. He handles the character very, very well. You know, one note's usually a bad thing, but I kind of like the one-noteness of this character. How even when he gets taken in and everything, he's still like this quiet, you know, shy, but nice guy that, you know, you just never really quite understand. Even Tim McGraw does a really good job as the dad, and it's all the little roles in this movie are very good. You know, the little kid that plays Sandra Bullock's son, don't know his name, but he was definitely very funny, you know, cute little energetic kid. Even one of the actors, some guy with a goatee that played a teacher, did a great job. The football coach, you know, great performances all around. A very nice, feel-good, touching story. A very great narrative of a true story. And it's a very good true story, and it transitions well to the big screen. You know, a lot of true stories fail in that aspect, and the narrative is actually very good in this movie. It's a very long movie, but it didn't seem to drag, at least not too much. A couple scenes near the end. But for the most part, I thought this was a very good movie. It definitely had my attention. Definitely a very heartwarming film. Tearjerker, maybe. A lot of people were crying. I wasn't, sorry, but yeah, I don't necessarily think this movie's all that powerful, but yeah, inspirational maybe. But, you know, it's definitely a very touching movie, and you definitely care about these characters. Sandra Bullock, really feel good movie, you know, a good movie for just us normal people that want to get away and enjoy a film. All the people I've talked about really seem to love it. I have a feeling this movie's really going to be loved by a lot of people. And, you know, it's a good film. It really is a very good movie. Don't think, oh, I don't like football that much. It's really not necessarily a football movie. There's about one, you know, big football sequence that revolves around football entirely. But it's actually really well done. I think this is a really good story. You know, very good true story turned into a very good film. That's very hard to do. Very, very, very. Writing's actually really great in this movie. And it, you know, deals with a bunch of, you know, familiar subjects. They don't overshadow the overall message. I think this movie does a great job of, you know, not having a center conflict, but not falling apart. This movie definitely stays engaging throughout without really having anything necessarily going wrong. You know, a movie without a conflict and keeping it interesting is hard to do. You know, I was surprised how entertained I was with this movie, because I'm like, you know, not much is going on, but for some reason I'm loving it. You know, inspired by a true story, but it hasn't stopped inspired by true story films. Movies of this kind are usually very, very cliched. I'm not saying this is in any way an original movie, but it definitely steers clear from some typical cliches that I was expecting it to go in. It seemed in some scenes like it was going in like these really typical, unnecessary directions, but it didn't. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10.